it's Yoshi here, and welcome back to Spirit University. And thank you so much for watching my video. And please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. So today in this mediumship development training video number 5, and I'll be talking to you about different types of psychic or spiritual senses that both psychics and medium use to receive and perceive information on physical and emotional, mental, and spiritual levels. Okay. Oh, thank you. So psychic senses, I believe that when we were little, so many of us were quite psychically aware. But throughout our early childhood education, many of us have been encouraged to use the left side of our brain more, analyzing and memorizing, right? And because of it, many of us have learned to ignore our inner guidance system, but instead we learn to rely more on logic and physical senses. And I can remember having a strong knowingness and sharing my gut feeling with my parents, but I was told off, and which happened multiple times, and not just by my parents, but the teachers and other grown-ups. And I'm sure that some of you can relate to this, right? So then we eventually have learned to rely more on other people's opinions rather than our own inner guidance system. And it's unfortunate because as I look back, it was obvious that my hunches were absolutely correct, but I didn't receive any acknowledgement or encouragement from the adults. So often we adults tend to think that we know so much more than our children, when many small children are actually very psychically tuned in. But the great thing is that it's never too late to reawaken or relearn the ability to trust our inner guidance system. Now we're constantly receiving intuitive guidance from within because our inner guidance didn't disappear, but it's always been part of us. And we just have to learn to become aware of it again. Now each of us reacts to our inner guidance system and psychic hunches in our own unique way, right? And the ways in which we receive information are by clairsentience, clairvoyance, and clairaudience, and claircognizant, clairgustance, and clairolfaction. So let me explain to you each of the phenomena. The clairsentience means clear feeling, and it's one of the more common psychic strengths, and it's relatively easy to access. So have you walked into a building where some negative incident took place and you felt some really heavy energy there? Or you met someone and all of a sudden you felt pain in your back, and then you later found out that the person was suffering from back pain, a terrible back pain. And these were examples of using your clairsentient ability, meaning clear feeling. So moving on to clairvoyance. The clairvoyance means clear seeing. And this means that one receives psychic messages by pictures, symbols, colors, and images. And we don't see the images or symbols with our physical eyes, but we see them with our inner eye. And sometimes it's called third eye. And psychics and mediums may create a mental screen where symbols and images are projected onto the screen, and which can be viewed with their third eye. An example of it is when you are driving down the road and all of a sudden you saw in your mind a huge stop sign. So you turn around and took a different path. And later on you found out that there had been a huge accident, and if you would have ignored the sign, continued on the same road, and you could have been involved in the big accident. Clairvoyance means clear seeing. When it comes to mediumship, the mediums can see spirits in two different ways, subjectively and objectively. And they can see spirit inside their mind, and that's subjective seeing. And when they see spirits outside of themselves, that's called objective seeing. And not many mediums are able to see spirits objectively nowadays on a consistent level. Okay, now moving on to clairaudience. The clairaudience means clear hearing. And this enables you to hear very specific information, such as names and dates and certain phrases and songs and addresses. But just to clarify, you can actually get the exact same information from clairsentience and clairvoyance as well. But when a medium has a highly developed clairaudient ability, they are able to receive extremely accurate evidential information, and they can hear in two different ways, subjectively and objectively. And when a medium hears information subjectively, meaning they hear information in their mind, and the information spoken sounds like their own voice. And this can make it a bit of a challenge and at times confusing, because it makes it difficult for the medium to distinguish between their own thoughts and psychic or spirit-inspired thoughts. In my personal experience, psychic information comes much faster than my own imagined sounds. Like anything else, it takes patience and practice to learn to differentiate between the two. So what's objective hearing? A very few mediums can actually hear information objectively nowadays, meaning the mediums are able to hear psychic information outside of themselves, and so the sound is very different from their own voice. And the medium has clairaudience ability, especially with subjective hearing. The evidential information they're able to receive from the spirits are extremely detailed and accurate. In 1980s, there were so many amazing clairaudient mediums, and a couple of them are Helen Hughes and Estella Roberts, and they were able to hear spirit voices so clearly, and which made them extremely accurate mediums. And some of us have experienced situations where we heard our name being called out, and only to find out that nobody was present. And that could have been that our loved ones in the spirit world was simply calling our name. Now moving on to claircognizant. The claircognizant means clear knowing. And this is where one can obtain psychic knowledge. And this is a strong sense of knowingness that the information they received is absolutely correct and accurate without knowing how they knew it. So for example, and some people have had very strong knowingness that something specific, that specific event was to take place. And later on they found out that the event indeed took place. They just simply knew the information. So that's claircognizance. And so moving on to clairgustance. The clairgustance is ability to taste and perceive the essence of something without actually putting it in your mouth. An example of this would be that all of a sudden you taste cigarette when you don't even smoke and there's no one around you smoking. But that taste reminded you of your grandfather who used to smoke a lot. And it's one of the ways that spirits use to let you know that they are around you. So again, clairgustance means clear tasting. Now moving on to the last psychic sense is clairolfaction. The clairolfaction is the ability to smell or perceive the scent of a substance or object or person without sharing the same physical location. An example of this would be that all of a sudden you smell your deceased grandmother's favorite roses inside your house where there was no rose inside or around the house. So again, clairolfaction is the ability to smell object or person without sharing the same physical location. And these spiritual abilities can be used to obtain information on the psychic level and as well as on the mediumistic level. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this episode. Now thank you guys so much for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, and please click the thumbs up button. And I appreciate you very much for doing that. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe so that you'll be notified when new training videos are uploaded. Now if you like to learn to invoke spiritual assistance in your life, and you can access the Spiritual Empowerment Kit from the link below. And I wish you a fantastic weekend.